Good evening and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. Day night, so we are playing Vaesen, Mythic Britain and Ireland. Oh, that's the main book. Mythic Britain and Ireland. It's lots of fun. Before we get started, there are links below the video to our YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, or Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, our social media platforms, our Discord, which you should join and come and chat with us, and the other people who are involved and watch the channel, and our Patreon. So if you like what we do, you can support us there for varying levels of reward. Other things that we do on the channel, Simba Room on Wednesdays, and we are doing kind of rotating Thursdays. So this week again is Wicked Ones, I think the 5th episode, and then next Thursday maybe or later The Big Wet is returning, and we also do different one-shots on weekend days with different players and GMs and stuff. So the next one I think at the moment is I'm going to be running on December the 3rd, and it will be the third in the Space Thulu sort of near future Call of Cthulhu space set thing. The previous two are on YouTube, so if you want to check those out before December, then please do. But that's going to be lots of fun. I will do a quick recap of things that have happened, very quick. So the group were signed up in a way to the Apollonian Society, an old society that deals with weird happenings and Vaesen, the sort of mythical folklore creatures, by a pair called Rupert and Eleanor. Since then, the group have dealt with a rather aggressive redcap, a group of mischievous pixies, a quite evil Spiritus creature which was living in a tiny box and feeding off the soul, essentially, of a woman, a sea serpent in the Thames, a werewolf who met a rather unfortunate end due to the assistance of a fairy which had taken up residence in Rose House and offered its help. Yeah, now it turns out that Rupert and Eleanor are missing and potentially presumed dead from a ferry ride from Sweden. So that's what the group are currently investigating, and they have made their way north via Hull, which is where the ferry operates from, and are now in Northumberland, following up on some washed up luggage. They may have also encountered a boggart at the Wheatsheaf Inn where they've just stayed, and at the end of last episode they got their hands on the luggage in a police station, well, I'll maybe leave it to Steve to recap. If we bring Steve on, actually, it's almost like I planned this. If we bring Steve on, who plays Henry Bonneville. Hey, Steve.
Hi there.
Are you happy to give a very small recap of the vision that Henry had at the end of last session?
Sure, yeah. So we'd made our way to Sea Houses in the driving rain to get a look at this luggage, which apparently belonged to Samuel Taylor, who we checked. We confirmed that this Samuel was one of the passengers on the ill-fated journey. And yes, so Henry Bonneville is a private detective. He's had a bit of a near brush with death, and in so doing has picked up a rather odd ability to sort of empathize, I guess, with owners of items, of sort of, just to sort of pick up a flavor or a sense of what might have gone on by touching something. And Henry tried this skill with the luggage, this trunk belonging to Samuel Taylor, and essentially saw like a time lapse series of images of this trunk as it journeyed from. It was carried by Samuel from Sweden onto the ferry, and then Henry saw, to his horror, that there was water started gushing from the ceiling in this ferry, and the next thing Henry knew, he could see Samuel clinging onto this trunk, floating away in the darkness, and then eventually Samuel lost his grasp on the trunk, and then yes, disappeared into the dark. So not looking good for Samuel, sadly.
Yes, thank you, Steve. Let's bring on John, who plays B. Hey, John.
Hello.
What's B got going on at the moment?
B in general is a hunter who used to live in the woods away from the rest of the rapidly industrializing ness of society. It's not currently, well, I mean, it is currently going on, hopefully, unless something terrible has happened. She has a son. The son is not currently on this adventure. He has remained safe at Rose House under the safe, Steve, under the care of Hawkins, who is the society butler. Right now, she mostly feels like she's wandering around, making sure various members of the group don't accidentally do themselves a misfortune. But I'm sure Justin will go into that in a bit more detail.
Speaking of, let's bring Justin on now, who plays Gale Mosling Forsmark. Hey, Justin.
Yeah, how's it going? It's going well. We're doing some good stuff. We're going down to investigate sea houses. We're going to go out to some rocks. Going to see some seals. It's going to be a good time. That's basically where we're at.
Yeah.
Totally ignoring the boggart situation.
Gonna,
climb some shelves.
Climb some shelves. Feel the sea breeze in our faces. Maybe get some surf and turf. It's like, it's beach holiday. Beach holiday episode.
In November.
Can't do everything in life.
Cool. Let's bring on Sam, who plays Hux.
Hello.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Hux recap.
I think Hux has been through a bit of a roller coaster, Originally it was kind of like, oh, what's the point in all this? I don't know, we're going to find them. It's just a shipwreck sort of thing. Then we had the whole, oh, wait, Vaesen were potentially involved. There's something going on here. Maybe we should, there's some hope of finding them. Then crying on the beach, which failed entirely. Then coming further up north and then finding evidence that actually, the ship definitely got sunk because there was luggage floating. So it really doesn't look like they've survived now again. So I don't know what. Hux is just a bit confused about this whole thing, really.
Go on, John.
I do want to frame something correctly. When Sam said crying on the beach and it failed, it's not we were so overcome with emotion we sat and had an emotional scene on the beach. It was literally
quite the opposite.
We read somewhere that crying into the ocean might help, and Hux failed to cry.
That's such a great line. We read somewhere that crying into the ocean might help.
If all else fails.
This is where we've got to with this story. This is what you've done to us, Jonny.
It's literally a metaphor for something that is completely useless.
Yes. Cool. Okay, so we ended the last session with Steve's Henry's vision. So straight off the back of that.
So we were in the police station, right?
Yes.
Cool. And just to remind, what sort of time of day was it we got here? Because we had to walk.
It's about 10 a.m.
Okay.
It's nice and early.
Got it. Okay.
Although it's hard to tell because sea houses, for some reason, is like under a cloud,
Mhm.
like a static
That seems
storm.
to defy the weather. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
probably nothing. It's probably
You're
fine.
muted, Justin.
I think I could lip read that.
I heard that one.
Not a metaphorical cloud, but a literal cloud.
Yes, a literal cloud.
Yes.
Maybe a metaphorical one too. Who knows? So I was going to ask, what is Henry's reaction to this as well? Because presumably Bonneville, like while holding it, and also because of the effect of it, something has been apparent. Are we trying to cover for you?
Yes.
Is it very mild? You know?
So Henry will be like, from what you can see, Henry is standing motionless. He looked like he was going to open the case, the trunk. So is sort of one hand is on the side of it, the other hand is on the a clasp, a catch, and he's stood there for several seconds. He's not saying anything. You might see after, I don't know, 15 to 20 seconds, Henry kind of maybe slumps a bit, and then opens the catch and opens the case, and kind of performatively, not particularly, he's looking through the items in there, but it's all fairly mechanical and fairly sort of cold, I guess.
Okay, so 15 to 20 seconds is definitely strange, suspicious quantity of time that the policeman will probably be wondering. So can I do a kind of, I'll just wander over and like point at the case. I'm not trying to knock Bonneville out of the, I mean, he's already had it, so I can't mess it up now anyway. Not trying to knock Bonneville out of the trance, but I'm just kind of like being like, oh yeah, what is that there? I see. And just like he's staring at the case as if there's something he's staring at on the thing, but there's not, trying to make it look like he's actually thinking about something real rather than, something that is real, but definitely isn't right here with us now.
Yeah, give me a
manipulation.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
good. That's a good roll. That's what I want to do.
Nicely manipulated, Sam.
Yeah, no. 8 dice. Let's see how it works. It doesn't work good. It doesn't work good. Oh, should I push it? A 20-second weirdness. How like does this policeman look like he's like suspicious of us, or does this policeman look like he does not really care? Is he like kind of nonchalant, not paying attention, or is he really paying attention? Because that will decide my push, I think.
No, he's actually, because at the point that the trunk isn't open, he's sort of not massively paying attention, because he probably wants to make sure that you don't nick anything, but until the thing is opened, there's no risk of that. So he's kind of maybe waiting on the sound of its creaking open or whatever.
Okay. I'm not going to reroll
engage.
Then. I just did a bad job of persuading.
Okay, and then you open the case, Steve, Henry, and
yes, yeah. So whether I'm in a state to actually tell much of what I'm going through, I am going to be somewhat distracted, I think. So I don't know. Perhaps others might have a clearer guess if they're watching what I'm doing. They might see things that I don't. But
I suspect we're not going to find much in the case anyway. It was touching the case that was most important, wasn't it? But yeah.
Could you give me? Let's do an investigation -2 dice.
Sure, I can do that.
Shall I make one given I'm next to him as well? I'm also terrible at investigation, so it's not that big of an advantage.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I got 5 in logic and 3 in investigation, but I am still frightened. But having said that, I am focused, which I think as a skill allows me to ignore conditions.
Like mental conditions.
Ignore penalties from conditions when making investigation tests. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
that's
6, I guess.
5, 6, yes, that is correct.
I got 1 success. Less
Okay.
dice. Less dice is the solution every time.
Always. Well, I say that I got 2 successes.
Okay. So what I'll say is Henry's kind of digging around in the clothes. This trunk has not escaped sort of being filled with water at some point. So the clothes they're not still totally sodden because it's been out a little while, but they're still at least damp. And as you kind of shove one out of the way, as Henry shoves one out of the way, Hooks actually spots that there's a little sort of notepad sort of thing in there, like maybe a little journal.
I'll probably just point to it because one of us is probably in a better position to reach it.
Yeah. So then, would Henry take a look through that now?
I think so, yes. Once I've been sort of jogged back to the present, as it were.
Yeah. So again, you think this is probably a journal as you're flicking through, but it's quite, it's got very wet. The ink has run a lot. But you do manage to piece together a couple of bits from nearer the back, whether this was a particular way up and that side's not got quite as damp or anything, you're not sure. But essentially, you gather that for there was a feeling that the weather was getting worse, and also that there had been Samuel had overheard one of the sort of onboard staff talking to another and saying that somebody was saying they thought they'd seen sort of a large shadow in the water. Or maybe more than one. But most other bits have run in there. And there's nothing else of note in there. There is a book, but it's like all the pages are sort of mushed together with the water, and it's like a bound book rather than a journal, so it could have been anything.
Well, I think we've got all we can out of this. Out of looking at this, yes, thank you. Yes, I think I'll go. Yes, and Henry will sort of put things back into the trunk and close it, and probably just head to the door if try and get some. Well, it's not fresh air, given that it's tipping it down, but maybe just stand near the doorway and look out into the rain.
Some fresh water.
Yeah, you just kind of hear him packing the trunk back up.
I'll have a final glance back to make sure he's not, at the very least, looking oddly at Bonneville or any of us.
No, he doesn't seem to be.
Cool. All good. I'm happy to leave them. All right, Bonneville.
Well, no, not particularly. Is there
you
somewhere
say?
we can?
Yeah, you're right. We should
Try and find some shelter outside, or somewhere else we can go, perhaps.
You did spot on your way here a bandstand along the seafront.
love it.
Which would make a reasonable shelter. It'd be cold, but you wouldn't get any more wet than you know.
Nice.
We get halfway there and they go, "Oh, the brass band is in today."
Well, that's great. That means no one will be able to hear us talk.
No one at all.
Shouting over that, love it. Yeah. I had a vision.
Why would the brass band be playing in the middle of a storm?
That was
No,
They got to practice. They got to practice for the big show. The finals are coming up.
I love it.
Got to go to regionals.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, exactly. Oh.
Bandstand.
Grandstand.
Once we're there, I'll put my hand on your shoulder, Bonneville, because I can clearly see you're kind of like shaking a bit and go like, "It's all right, you take your time."
I got an impression of what went on the boat, and I don't think, well, barring a miracle, I don't think Samuel will be. I don't think we'll be seeing Samuel again. Something happened to it. There was either a tremendous storm, or I don't know whether it was capsized, or but some great calamity. The ship was filling with water. The last I saw was Samuel losing his grasp on the case and disappearing into the dark.
So it definitely seems like it's gone down then.
Yes, I can't imagine. I can't imagine the boat surviving that.
It's not that I doubt your ability to divine the future or the past, Bonneville, but are you ruling out the chance that maybe you've just had a bad turn? Maybe a strong feeling. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I'm just going to cross my arms at Gale and just be like,
I find that I think that I understand, that I've no doubt of your capabilities and in all other matters, but I'm just skeptical that any of us could really harness these powers of reaching out into. There are natural explanations to all of these things, and I just
Gale,
find this to be.
there's a sea monster in our house back in. Sorry, there's a
Sea monster back in.
What?
There is now.
Like
Who
size
knows?
there?
It might have happened while we were away. Try again.
Something's gone horribly wrong.
Just waiting for us. At the
Did
Did you
door.
leave the taps on?
These creatures are. They have their own.
Look,
They're not us. We are different. We are not Vaesen.
we all live in this same world. We all work in the same ways. Just because we're people doesn't mean we can't tap into the same sort of thing they do. I've seen it before in others. Look, one of those things attached to, what was her name? The lady who got the Spurtus. You saw what she did.
I mean, I sincerely hope that I'm wrong and you're right, Mosling. I have no wish to be able to see things like this. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps it's nothing.
No,
But
let's not. Maybe it could be all kinds of things. That even if we are tapping into something, then it might not be clear to what degree we can trust that information yet. We haven't established that. Sorry, Mr. Hux.
Well, what did you read in that notebook, Bonneville? Yeah. That's something concrete anyway.
Yes. Well, they discussed. They said that the weather was getting worse. That isn't surprising. But they did apparently overhear staff saying that they'd seen shadows, large shadows in the water. Now, we have all seen something that might cause those.
Yeah. That wouldn't bode well. I don't know how much bigger those things can get. I don't think the one we met would have taken down a ferry like we saw. But who knows?
Well, by its very nature, it was limited in size because, well, it had to travel up the Thames. So,
Good point. A scary thought.
Well, I still think that we need to go out into those islands and talk to the lighthouse keepers. I just feel that there's something there still. Maybe if we do all of that and we come to nothing, it might be time to start thinking about closing the book on this case.
Out of character, did we actually notice in character the fact that the storm was staying in the same location?
I think we did. I think we'd started to notice that.
Yeah.
You made some rolls. Yeah, I was about to say.
What I said was that it was sort of like an epicenter, and also you did specifically ask whether it was windy, because I said that it seemed to be over that particular area, and it didn't seem to be shifting.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Hux would next go. I wonder if we can ask anyone else here about this strange weather as well. Others must have thought this is odd.
Well, there were
around.
There were the people due to take supplies out to the lighthouse. They will have been, by definition, monitoring how long this storm has been like this.
Yeah. Ask around for them then. Next step.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same storm.
I'd assume if they haven't been able to get out, it must have continued, right?
Do we know anything that... Have we... God, I need my own notes on what we've learned about Vaesen. Do we know that mermaids can control storms? Did we find that
we
out?
know that I think we know that sirens can control storms. I think that's what we learned, but not skelkies or whatever they are.
I don't remember controlling storms specifically.
Well,
I wasn't doing the reading, to be fair. Might not have paid attention.
I remember something about storms, but I think I remember it from way back when we were first researching the sea serpent.
Yeah.
Rather than any research on anything to do with this.
I think you are right.
Well, I suppose we can always check that by,
checking the books.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which are back with the boggart.
Yeah. Safe and sound.
Yeah.
I always bring my books with me in my bookcase, my carrying case. I have a doctor's bag full of books that I bring.
Or even through the driving storms.
Yeah, because it's one of my items.
Oh, okay, right.
I also love the idea of anemic Gale Mossing Force-Mark carrying 20 books along the beach in a driving storm.
When I say I carry them,
I'll tell you what, Hux ain't carrying them.
Muzzling.
Would Hux carry them for a shilling?
No, Hux, he doesn't have to worry so much about money nowadays.
No, you're right.
If you use that shilling to buy a drink, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. My first mistake was not dealing with the actual currency of Hux's transactions, which is spirits.
Hard liquor.
Yeah, that might work. Also, I was thinking this is why you've got to have a character who's illiterate. Then you don't need to remember anything because you've constantly got plausible deniability for having not having
crafty,
imagination.
I like it.
Wow. Illiterate people don't remember things, Sam.
Yeah, it's well known. I can just be more woolly with it, you know?
That's true. You're literate and you can't remember things, so I don't see why you think that literate people are going to be worse than you. Anyway, so so let's say we remember that. It's very possible that sea serpents could be involved again, perhaps in conjunction with something else. Do these things ever team up, do you think?
Do we know of situations when other Vaesen play well together, Jonny? That's kind of a very specific thing, but we might have come across that in our time. I don't know.
I don't think you have. The only interaction that you're aware of is Apple with Jeffrey Milner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Pixies.
I think that's the only time that you've ever known.
Pixies was Aspertus, technically. They didn't get along.
But the Pixies specifically said that they couldn't help with Aspertus.
That's true. So not really any positive.
No.
Okay.
Well, The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, as I think I read that somewhere. I think what we need to do is gather evidence by visiting this lighthouse, as they're pointing out to the lighthouse. And so let's go find those dock workers who can speedily and safely transport us out onto those dangerous rocks through the crashing waves and the lightning strikes.
Yes, I suspect the weather might have something to say about our.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
But,
Well,
yes, let's ask the people on the shore and see whether they can.
well, there's not going to be
convince
anyone
them.
outside in this weather, so maybe those workshops over there or something. I don't know.
Didn't we just walk past a beach full of sailors prepping their...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those ones. It was last session. I can't remember that far back.
To be fair, it's
7
10
days.
it's 10 a.m. It's probably the end of their workday already. So maybe that's the morning shift finishing, and well, let's go find out.
Okay, yeah, you sort of trudge back down the wet sand, holding your raincoats against the weather. And yeah, these people are still sort of tying things down and moving where boxes are to try and stop them getting damaged or dragged out to sea. And they kind of look at you again in a similar way to they did when you walked past last time. And then one of them realizes that you're probably walking towards them rather than past them this time. And he kind of looks up as he's hammering the giant nail thing into the ground. I can't remember what you call them.
Hitting?
Pitong, I wanted
Yeah.
to say. Pitton, yeah. He does that and then says, "What are you doing out here?"
We're looking for transport out onto the island. Can anyone take us out in the storm?
Are you mad?
Potentially, but we're willing to pay good money for it if someone can take us out to Longstone Lighthouse.
They've been trying to get out there for days, man.
What is with this storm anyway? Has it been just here for all this time?
I've never seen nothing like it
Yeah.
in all
I
my
thought-
years.
When we walked over from where was Bamborough? Yeah, we walked over from Bamborough. It was nowhere near as bad there. It's just here almost. It's weird.
Aye. Sea spirits are angry. Must be.
Everyone looks at each other.
It's not that we
How long?
disagree. Sorry, go on, John.
How long has it been like this?
3 days?
And Jonny, how long has it been since the actual event? I've
About
lost
that
track of
long,
in-game
I
time.
think.
Right.
Yeah.
We all look at each other again.
Who's in charge of trying to get out there to the lighthouse? What's his name?
Well, me, I suppose. In a way. You see some of the other guys that are doing stuff kind of have downed tools a little bit to kind of see what's going on after this strange group of people has wandered over in this horrible weather, and presumably their boss is taking time out of his work to talk to you. And they're sort of, but the wind is blowing towards you so that you don't think they're picking up any of the conversation because it's just.
Well, I'm going to do it. Like, is there anything that could persuade you to take us out there? Money, other things, any worldly possessions.
Before we get to that, how crazy is it going on the sea? None of us are seafarers. Like,
That's a way, Hux.
can you get there? I mean, I'm assuming if you haven't tried, there's good reason, right?
Very dangerous, very dangerous. But well, we've 3 days lost wages at the moment. So how much are we talking?
Whatever 6 resources will buy, 5 resources will buy.
Probably quite a lot.
I think like it would be a serious outlay, but I would be willing to like what Bosling's. I know I had this feeling that this is the exact plot to Jurassic Park 2, where or 3, whichever one they go out on the island and Peyton Tile Plus man like goes, I'd take just anything, spare no expense, kind of. But I'm gonna do it anyway, and I would like if it's possible for Mosling to front the money, then he will.
Yes, it is. The figure that he says you can.
I just feel like a Jurassic Park villain. Like, you know what I mean? Though is that all the stories are the same plot.
Just sending us to our graves, throwing money.
Let's go to the dangerous island that you're not supposed to go to because it's too dangerous. Money will make it happen.
I'm not so concerned about the island. It's the getting there that's currently.
That's the plot of Jurassic Park 3.
I mean, I think Hux. I think I'd say that if this guy didn't want to do it until you put money on the table, he doesn't think it's that dangerous because he's willing to do it for more money. He just didn't want to do something hard and risky. He's not going to throw his life away for some money, is he?
Yeah, right now he has
Nobody
one life.
ever throws their life away for money.
No, why would anyone ever do that?
He's going to have one money and
Exactly.
I'll need to see if I can get a couple of the lads to come with me.
I think that'd be a good idea.
He turns and goes, and you can overhear his conversation because the wind is blowing towards you. Basically, as not long after he starts talking, a couple of the lads sort of get back to what they were doing, and another couple are kind of standing and listening a little longer. Let's do a roll.
I'm going to take a photo of this scene.
Okay.
I think it's a dramatic scene to take a photo
in the driving rain.
Yeah. Action shot.
One of the two and this guy walk back over to you.
Surely we need a few more than that.
He says, well, it's not ideal, but I'm sure we can make it work.
I'm sure we'll be able to help, right?
Splendid.
I have grave doubts about this.
How long do you need?
Well, we should get going as soon as possible, really. Then if anything goes wrong with more light.
Excellent idea.
How long does the journey normally take?
In this weather, an hour.
Not too bad, I suppose. Is it just one of these rowboats here?
It's he points and there's a boat that does actually have like a sail system. But he says, but of course the wind's against us, so it will be rowing.
Yeah. Figured.
I'm not well enough to row at the moment, I'm afraid. Will we have enough people to
Will more money
take us
help?
out there? Will more money help? Honestly, will more money help? Can we get more?
If I just throw money out the back of the boat, will it propel us towards the lighthouse?
I heard worse ideas.
I
we
think
can make
Henry.
it work. I'm sure.
Oh my
He's
God.
sure, Bonneville. I say smacking Bonneville with my cane. Not hard.
I'm going to look at either. I think I'm going to try and get a word with B and just sort of, maybe take a couple of steps away from.
Mosling will be
From this-
busying himself, like, trying to help with the boats. So,
God.
like,
We're removing dice from the inevitable roll. B, I really don't like this notion. I know we need to get out there, but this weather is fierce. If we need to go, I suppose we need to go. But can you think of anything that might counteract this weather? Can you remember anything we've seen that would, I don't know, protect us somehow or dispel this? I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's something to this. I imagine it's being influenced, but as to how to undo it, I don't know.
Well, I can't think of any way you or I could do it, but if we could find a way to make a friend in the water, have someone looking out for us in case we go overboard. But unless you've got a maiden that's willing to cry, then I don't think any of us can see about that. I guess all we have to do is hope that there's someone looking out for us anyway.
Well, I don't know whether I've experienced that feeling so far. Perhaps I'll just take a walk by the beach for a moment. I'll be back soon. And yes,
Jonny?
I will.
Sorry.
I'll head towards the beach and sort of walk up and down a bit and maybe try and find somewhere to stand or sort of crouch down and just sort of reflect and maybe trail my fingers in the water and not exactly pray. I'm not sure that's a thing that hope
Constance will be
fervently
happy.
that
Yeah.
If I go over to B and ask, is Bonneville all right? What's up with Bonneville? What would B say? Getting cold feet?
I think we all are.
Well, that's not good. We could put it off for a day. How about that? If I tell them we will go tomorrow, have more time to prepare.
I don't think that would help.
I don't think the storm's getting any better either. And if there is the smallest chance that our friends are out there, the sooner we get there, the better. I don't like it particularly either, but we all have to. Everyone who goes needs to go because they want to go, and not just because Mr. Mosling Force Markers thought it was a good idea to go into a boat. It is dangerous.
If you're worried that you're making Henry do something he doesn't want to do, then I don't think you need to worry about that.
Good.
I think he is doing something he doesn't want to do. I think we all are. I think he's just thinking of ways we could make it safer.
Well, I think that would be very, very much appreciated by all two boatmen was not as many as I mean, it'll be better for the purse, but not quite as good for getting out there and back.
No.
Jonny, was Constance with us, by the way? Okay. I might have a moment with Constance, and I might genuinely ask Constance to pray for us and join her, given the weather.
Okay.
Presumably she's on board.
Yeah.
I'm also curious what she thinks, but we don't have to actually roleplay that. Is Constance okay with this plan?
I'm not that curious. Like,
I mean, I don't think anybody is really okay with the plan, are they? But it's
Is it really a plan?
No, it's just
it's a plan. It's a plan. It's a plan. It's a plan.
Well, I'll pray with the good sister anyway. Can I make a roll?
We've
Pray?
literally never had it this bad. I love it. We've gone up against a sea monster. This is the first time we've gone, guys. We
This
may
is like-
die.
This feels like totally out of our control. At least with the sea monster, we had dynamite. What are you going to do? Blow up the sea? You're just kind of going into the storm and going.
I love this. This is great.
I do also want to point out we went with the sea monster with full confidence, and Henry almost died.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
true.
Not,
It's true.
I'm not saying.
We've learnt a lesson.
I'm not saying we had control of that situation. I'm saying you have more control when you're fighting a sea monster than you do being in a storm in the ocean.
It's true.
Totally. What we've really learned is that Vaesen as a concept is fundamentally flawed because the true terrors of the world are found in nature and not in fantasy.
Exactly. Although, to be fair,
Or people.
this storm is mystical in nature. So I suppose there's a combination there.
That's true. But it's not the
Okay,
storm that will
yeah,
kill us,
so-
it's the drowning.
Yes, you spend some time praying with Constance. What I will also say is that when you decide you are going to go, because I feel like you're not 100% that you're going today necessarily at present, but she will bless the boat when you go,
That's good. That's good.
which
But
then
That's good.
means that any rolls to do with the boat, you get a +2. So rather than one of you having a blessing, it's like anybody who's doing
Right.
something with
That's
the boat.
really
gets a
useful.
+2.
That sounds
But
good.
what you're saying
Okay.
there is that we have to make rolls when we're in the boat. That's the,
yeah, I think
that's
that
the
might happen.
key.
That is
I'm just saying that if
risk
you
of
had
life.
to make any rolls to do
I mean-
with the boat exploding, you would get a +2.
Does that bless also apply to the NPCs in the boat? You know, it's just a
Yes.
sensible
no, they're
thing to
fine.
do.
Yes.
Yeah, I was-
no, all the NPCs in this boat don't. They're just Satan worshippers. They don't believe in Christ. It's a -2.
Does it apply to Vaesen attacking the boat? Because they're doing something with the boat.
What
Yes.
will end up is the boat will be absolutely fine. It will arrive on the shore somewhere, absolutely fine.
Wow, all of them died a horrible, painful
It's a
death.
miracle.
Who would have imagined the boat survived? So perfect.
Oh my god!
It does actually say the player character or anyone using the object. So it's, if you are blessed, you are the player character. But if an object is blessed, it says anyone
Nice.
using.
Nice.
That's pretty
So
cool.
I would say
So
that
Vaesen
includes
gets a bonus too.
NPCs. Yes,
If
yeah.
the Vaesen try and row the boat, yes.
Yeah, if they try and row you off course, they'll get an
Oh,
advantage.
amazing.
Vasen's trying to use the boat to smash into us.
I think before we commit to going now, Jonny, I'm trying to do I'm trying to judge this captain guy who's said, yeah, sure, I'll go out to sea for money. Is he a bit of a maniac and he's sending us to our doom? Or is this not a terrible idea?
You think he probably just needs some money.
Yeah.
He's not translucent then. He's not sort of, he does have feet.
He
He's
believes
not
in
sort of-
spirit. He believes in sea spirits. He's a trustworthy guy.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely wasn't going to go out and risk himself for no reason.
Yeah.
You think he probably needs some money and has made, done a risk reward matrix
Yeah.
and decided that, he's somebody who needs money.
Yeah. So it's a risky
and
job
cool.
rather than something.
I feel good
Yeah.
about this situation.
Gotcha. I have a great image of the sea captain going like, no, you all jump in first. I'll just push you off and then just not jumping in.
Oh wow, that would be dark. Oh, go on, John.
I'm after Mosling wanders off to do Mosling-y things. I'm going to spend some time looking out into the water and seeing if I can see anything in the waves.
Why don't you make me a vigilance roll, I would say. Or investigation if that is better for you.
2 successes.
Okay. You're kind of working your way outwards with your vision, further and further out, and sort of towards where you can see this rotating of the light on the lighthouse. And you don't see anything for a while. You're at the pot, it's cloudy overhead, so seeing shadows in the water, like when you're level with the water rather than above it, it's very difficult. What you do, you think, you're not even 100%, but you think as you get further out, there are some sort of rises in the water that don't quite line up with a wave pattern. So almost as if something else is displacing the water rather than it, but you're not 100%. And that's much more further out towards where the lighthouse is than close in.
So in the direction that we're going.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
presumably, if it's displacing water like that, like a wave, it's something fairly large.
Don't get me wrong; these aren't enormous things.
Okay.
Like B would maybe guess,
like dolphins could do it. Sort of
like
thing.
maybe 2 foot
Okay.
above them. But like again, the water's choppy. So what is the level of the water at that point? But it's just you think there's a bit where you're like, hang on, that kind of looked a bit out of place, but difficult to quantify.
Got it.
Well, I think so. I have a question regarding the latest talent that I took at the start of this this episode.
Tell us about that talent, Steve.
I given that Henry has been communing more and more frequently with things not quite of this earth, I decided to take medium, which is the wording for that is you can use observation to perform seances where you predict people's futures and contact the dead. Extra successes provide more information, prolong the contact, or cause spirits to materialize. On failure, you are given inaccurate information, attacked, or suffer a condition. I was wondering whether a seance had to be like a round table, join hands, candles thing, or whether it's a more impromptu thing that I can do on my own, say, sat by the waves with my hand in the water.
It's a fun thing to imagine Bonneville trying to light a candle on the beach in the
Okay, I'm going to say that you don't have to do the classic seance ritual, but you do need to be able to have good concentration. So I would say that being sat in the middle of a kind of stormy day, that might be quite difficult. If it were a still day and you could put your hand in the water, I would say that was fun. If you can come up with a way to get around that, I'm not saying that you can't do it now. I'm just saying that I think we need to set a thing of like, you need to be able to have solid concentration to be able to do it. So if you could find, like a little cave entrance or something that you could be in, and like the water coming in you're using or something like that, then that would be fine. But not just sat out here being blasted by the weather. And
okay. Henry might look around for maybe some sort of representative things that he can take to, and look around for a cave or a bit of shelter. So, some driftwood, some shells, I don't know, starfish. No, there wouldn't be a starfish here, would they? No, that'd be ridiculous. Yes, just sort of general detritus, just to sort of, collect a few pieces. And then maybe if I can find somewhere to retreat to, then I might have a go. It's not, it's not. A bandstand's like a good...
The traditional place for a seance, a bandstand.
It's not, it's not sort of sea themed, is it?
It's by the waterfront.
Like you can get like a dead like a French horn player going, "Oh, he's playing on the boats." Nope.
Okay, yeah, I'm. You'll need to walk for a few minutes.
Sure.
To get to the next sort of. I can't think what the word would be, but where like the beach almost stops and it goes up to like cliff edges,
Sure.
and you think you might be able to find like a cavey bit. So are you going to head off that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I would follow Bonneville.
Good, because I wasn't going to tell anybody. So
the
that's somebody's spot.
boatman, and who you assume at least temporarily is his sort of first mate, are doing a couple of bits with the boat, and he sees you walking past, and he says, "Oh, try and be whatever you're doing. Try and be back in the next hour, because the tide's going to shift outwards, so that'll be best for us. Less ruin work."
Okay. Yes. Yes. I won't be. I won't be long.
Okay. What are Mosling and B doing?
Muslim
I assume you've noticed Henry head off, because unless you had gone off yourselves to do something, or something else that was massively taking your attention away.
I'm gonna tell B that I was thinking about sheltering under one of those tarps and having one of the tomato sandwiches. I feel like we need to keep our energy up, and I guess I'm going for a scene of sheltering but in the storm. But just saying it makes it sound vaguely inappropriate. Do you want to shelter under a tarp with me? I just feel like but that's what I'm offering. In a non nothing sexual.
I look off after Henry and then after Hux following along behind him. And then I look at you, who is wet and bedraggled and probably still very pale. And I will eat a tomato sandwich with you. And
Cool.
Constance, who I assume is still here.
Yes. We need her involved to make sure everybody understands that everything's above board.
We already understand everything is above board.
Anyway, that happens.
Okay.
I'd like to recover some conditions, if that's okay.
Yeah, fine.
I have the feeling that we're going to need them.
I was thinking if I could remove my exhausted, but now I'm chasing Bonneville because it's more interesting.
More than tomato sandwiches.
So yeah, Henry and Hux, you have to do a little bit of a scramble because the tide is in at the moment to get round. But you basically get into this cave entrance, which has kind of a like a tidal pool coming in. And you're sheltered, and the wind is kind of going past the front of the cave, so there's not like a howling of it coming in or anything like that. And there's the sound of the rain on the water, but that's, it's calming. If anything, it's actually helpful to the task rather than.
This is one of those. Yeah, this is one of those awkward roleplay moments. I can imagine Hux has kind of followed you. I don't think I've asked any questions. I'm just trusting to whatever you're doing. But now we've arrived in the cave, I kind of look to Bonneville and just go, "So, what are we doing here then, Bonneville?" And I realised it's one of those awkward
whips out
roleplay
tomato
moments.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
No. I'm not certain about getting into a boat in this weather. That storm feels unnatural, and to just sail into it blithely just doesn't feel right. I thought I got such a sense of, well, with the trunk, I had a connection there. I was wondering whether I can maybe take that further and I don't know, try to. Oh, it sounds ridiculous. I don't.
No, I
talk
don't
to
think
the
it does.
sea.
I don't think it does. It kind of makes sense, I think. Look, clearly you have some connection to these things. Just trust your instincts, all right?
Well, I suppose it's worth a try.
Does it feel like there's anything I can do to help, or should I leave you to it?
Well, I've no idea what will happen. So having you here is certainly a comfort. If anything does happen, I trust you'll be able to assist in any way that you can.
Sure.
But really, I don't know what to expect.
I'll just step back and keep an eye then. You go ahead.
And Henry will sort of arrange the objects that he's taken, a bit of driftwood, some, I don't know, a bit of old fishing net, some shells, and we'll arrange them in a line in front of the tidal pool. And then he will fish out the memento, the red cap tooth, because he's still down a couple of conditions. So yes, sort of hold that and summon his energies, and hopefully is it 2 conditions that the memento gets rid of? I think in the errata. Yeah, cool. And are they any 2?
I think it can
2
be
from the same?
one of. I think it can be one of each if you wanted to.
That would be ideal.
Is that a once per session thing? I can't remember. Or what's the restrictions on that? Once per
story.
Story, okay.
And I've not used it this story, have I? No.
No, you
No.
haven't.
No.
Don't think I have either.
Lovely. Okay. Yes, and then I will attempt this sort of connecting with the waves and the sea and anything that might have died in the sea, maybe trying to predict our own futures, that sort of thing, and just see what happens.
Okay. Remind me of the wording again, Steve, for the talent.
Sure. Hang on a moment. What I'll do
I
is
think I'm here actually.
I'll cut and paste it into chat as well, because that'll be probably a little
use
easier.
observation to perform seances where you predict people's futures and contact the dead. Extra successes provide more information, prolong the contact, or cause spirits to materialize. On failure, you are given inaccurate information, attacked, or suffer a condition.
So the sorts of things I'm after. If there's anything that can explain what the storm is and how to counteract it, that would be good. If I can see, like, a glimpse how we get on the boat, whether there's anything we need to watch out for, that's something. Or just anything, any spirits in the sea that can sort of, talk to us, give us information, that sort of thing. So whatever, and whatever seems appropriate.
Okay, great.
Presuming I pass the roll, which we'll have to see. So it's an observation roll.
Yeah.
I have 4 in empathy and 3 in observation. Now, it does feel like I'm gaming the system a little bit. So I
Are you going to use your empathy thing?
Absolute empathy? Yes. Is that too far?
I don't think so.
I mean, we all know that more dice doesn't help.
Because your use of that is once per session, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the end of the last session was the
vision, yes.
The trunk, yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Well, that'll be 11 dice.
Is it statistically possible?
I do get 2 successes out of 11 dice. I don't know whether that's par for the course or not. I'm sure John would.
I mean, it's
That's about average. That's
Yeah.
dead
like
on.
2 of each number, like, and 1 with a 1 would be.
I did
Yeah.
get 6 4s, but that's by the by.
That's a super secret special Vaesen rule. That is 6 4s.
Instant death.
You've unlocked the bonus round.
Jonny just opens a wall in the cave door.
Okay, 2 successes. So did you say you've gathered these things around and you're kind of moving your hand in the water? Is that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tense moment for the GM when it comes to future predictions or spirits
It's always-
associated
yeah.
with things.
It's one of these things that I like the way that you can not break the game, but yes,
Yeah.
short circuit things.
This is a lot meaner than my just create an NPC thing. This is like the whole future.
I mean, it is.
plot.
It's essentially the same thing, but the NPC is dead.
Yeah, but the NPC also has to know the future, whereas the NPC for mine could just be wrong. They could just be an idiot.
Yeah,
This
have
is
to
like
know the
has to
future.
give you. Well,
Justin, I'll have your comment in private chat.
Okay, you hear a voice, a distant sounding voice in your ear, Henry, and it says, "Hello, hello.
Hello?
Something has happened. There was a loud bang, and then, well, I'm not sure.
Can you tell me where you are?
I don't know, but it's dark." Worth noting, this is not a voice you recognize. Just
So that's something, I suppose. Oh my god. Okay, so can you remember what you were doing? Were you on a boat?
yes, and then bad weather and a bang.
Can you remember the name of the boat? He says as he checks the notes. Was it?
It started with an R, but things are getting cloudy.
I don't want to lie. It's all right. You can let go now. Just let go and everything will be all right.
you don't hear anything else for a few seconds. But then all of a sudden you can kind of hear the sound of the water again, and you realize that you all that was kind of background noise before, and it comes to the forefront, and you get the feeling that this connection has kind of disappeared, whatever that means.
Hux is sat kind of across the water from you, like elbows on knees, just watching you wide-eyed.
Just as an aside, Steve, I will leave it entirely up to you as to whether you think the conversation from your side took place in your head, or whether you think you speak out loud or even mumble, or I'll leave it up to you to characterize that.
I think it's more fun if it's audible.
But is it audible like coming out of Henry Bonneville?
Oh well, I think Hux can hear my side of the conversation.
Cool. And it's not like you're doing the because
I'm not doing the voice. I can't.
I've not been to a seance, but from my understanding of how they are on television,
True.
I've just got Bonneville doing a small effeminate voice in a cave.
I don't
So
hear
Huck's
the
going
other
like,
voice.
"This is fantastic."
Safe to assume.
Oh my god! No, Henry doesn't do a
Cool.
No.
Just wanted to clarify.
I think
clarify.
Yeah.
first thing I will do is just go, you all right?
I suppose so. I didn't get any useful information. I just talked to someone else who died on that boat.
Damn.
Well, I suppose we should get back.
You know, I must admit, of all things, this makes me slightly less inclined to go out on the raging waters in a storm.
I was... Yes. But if we don't know how to control the storm, then what do we do?
Yeah, I must admit, I don't want to wait. Feels like time is of the essence, doesn't it?
It does.
Come on then, let's see if they're ready.
Yeah, head back.
Cool. So I suppose B and Mosling, you will see them trudging back up the beach. Are you heading out from under the bandstand to meet them, or hoping that they'll come meet you here?
We're at our top in the beach. That was my understanding.
Oh, yes, you were. Sorry, my
Yeah.
mistake.
I'll wave them over, but I won't leave the top.
I will quickly munch one of the sandwiches.
I will force the remaining one into Henry's hand.
Just stare at it for a while, and then...
I know,
Yes.
Henry. I thought the same thing. Perhaps it'd be better to eat afterwards. It's only going to
Oh
come
my
out
God.
later.
Oh, joy. Lovely. Excellent.
Look, just don't think about it too much. If you expect it to happen, it's definitely going to happen.
I'm just glad we left the dog in Hull.
Yeah. Does it look like they're about ready now, Johnny? Watching them?
You've probably got half an hour.
Okay.
Fuck.
So if you wanted to make any further preparations, then you have a little time.
Just buzzing automatic writing again and again and again. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do
Death,
this. Don't
death,
do this.
drowning.
Don't do this.
Water. Oh.
Don't know why I wrote this down so many times. In front of us. Yeah, I
Trying to
mean,
think- Sorry.
crying into the sea. That's we could give that. We could all give that a good.
I
good
would
college
like to
try.
go. I would like to go and see if we can find any life jackets because I've just googled and they were definitely around by now.
That's
Yeah.
what I was just about to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Good.
They were probably made of like cork rather than.
Yeah, cork is the classic material. They might be difficult to find, but I'll see if there's anything, or even just ring or like extra safety stuff that could go with us, floaty things, because we're not that far from
Ropes.
shore. Exactly. Yeah, gather stuff because I'm assuming they won't probably have like loads of stuff here, so I might just have a wander around and see if there's any other bits and bobs I can grab.
Yes, I'm happy that you can get yourselves life jackets here.
Yes.
It is a coastal place. There is a lifeboat station here.
Mhm.
So yeah, there is access to this kind of stuff. If you wanted to have one for everybody, I think that your best bet would be to go and ask at the lifeboat station.
I'll go there. Yeah, it's like a fair bet.
Warn them that we're heading out. Actually.
Yeah, well, that was my first thought. We're going to be like, we have to make an emergency trip there. Could we borrow some life jackets? Also, we're heading out soon.
Also, please stop us.
So you head there, and there is just basically one guy there at the moment. And he kind of stands up as you come in. You would imagine that most times people walk in here, especially people that they don't know, it's to say, I've seen somebody, or
Drowning,
everything all right?
For now, yeah. We're perhaps a little foolishly heading out to the lighthouse. Wondering if we could grab some life jackets and also, I suppose, let you know.
Oh, of course, yeah. I knew the day would come when somebody would have to go. And he kind of pulls. There's 4 along each wall here, so he takes 5 off and hands them to. I assume you ask for 5. Do you ask for 5?
Yeah, I probably would. The crew probably had them. Yeah, I think I'll assume the crew had their own.
And he says, right, well, hi. I'll keep an eye out. And you see that there's a telescope on the table that he was sitting at.
That's good to know. A bit of a relief, thanks.
Be careful.
We will.
We'd normally advise people to stay as far away from the rocky areas as they can, but maybe in this instance it might be wise to be near land as much as possible.
Well, there's not much choice given where we're heading as well. I'm sure the lads down there on the beach know what they're doing, know the way. They must have done it 100 times.
Oh, aye. Is it Johnson you've managed to get roped in?
I will assume I've heard that name by now. Or no,
You haven't. I don't think you have got the name.
I'll just nod. I'll just nod.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Don't go for that crazy fella. Yeah, no, all good. If he doesn't offer anything else up, I'll probably head off at that and thank him for the life jackets. We'll bring him back shortly.
He says, go safe, and you see him picking up the telescope as you go to leave.
I'll wander back over to the group with the life jacket and say, well, I got these, and the lad at the rescue center up there, he's going to be watching us as well, so a bit more safety, I suppose. Is this
That's good.
fellow who's taken us, is he called Johnson?
I turn to the man and go, Johnson!
He turns and looks.
All going well? Question mark.
Raises a hand as if to say fine.
I hope so.
Good job.
Under the cover of the top. So I think like most of us brought we left our luggage behind. But some of us may have brought some day luggage with us. Muzzling with his camera and his book bag.
Bookcase.
I'm obviously going to bring the camera.
I have everything that I own on me.
B maybe brought like a small bag and a long package with her. And under the cover of the tarp, she's going to roll it like a cloth, not quite a bag, more of a wrap. Roll it out, and inside is her faithful rifle, which she checks for. I can't remember whether we have cartridges at this point. Checks is loaded, and the harpoon. And I'm going to make sure that the harpoon is ready to use and tied with rope.
I'm just checking nobody has dynamite, right?
Sadly not.
No, we didn't bring that. Then again, it would have been really hard in this storm, to be fair.
Thought we'd be able to get some in Hull, and then we ended up here.
I told you. Good job with that harpoon, though. I forgot about that.
Thought it might be useful. I only mention it because I vaguely remember mentioning it before we left London, and then I have not mentioned it since.
Yeah, I do remember you saying that you were bringing it. Okay. The man that you presume is Johnson, and the man that you presume is at least temporarily his first mate, come over, and he says, "Right, got your affairs in order," and he kind of gives a small smile.
I'm like tightening the life jacket strap on like modeling force mark at this point when he says it.
I'm literally going to batter your knuckles with the cane. If I'm going over, I'm going over.
I think we're as ready as we'll be.
Right. Couple of safety and knowledge bits. We're going to push up a little further and go around the north side of the islands. That way, if anything bad happens, the wind and the tide will push us back towards the island. Whereas if we're this side, could be swept halfway down the coast. You've got life jackets on. They might help. If you see something, grab it. Hopefully it won't come to that, but it's not great out there.
And we all grabbing an oar, except this one. I'll point to go.
Anyone who's willing to help, it'll help.
Mm-hmm.
Have you loaded on all of the supplies for the lighthouse?
Aye, we've got them on.
What about any medical supplies? Just in case.
We carry a small amount with us, but aye, we could pop and see about grabbing a few more bits. Give us 5 minutes. And he disappears off.
Very short on time.
And his mate heads back over to the boat. So he's not standing around awkwardly with you, but you could talk to him if you wanted to go over to the boat and talk to him.
Yeah, I'll go over to him and ask you. Just gonna chat with him, ask about his, small talk, ask about his name, how long he's worked there.
Is he family. Like 3 days away from retirement?
Chatty guy. Yeah. I'm just gonna be chatty. He's my journalist chatting nature. of finding out about people?
I'm Evans. Yeah, I've been doing this a few years. You'd say he's probably about 20. He's quite young, this guy, but that's not to say that he hasn't been doing this job for,
Yep.
7 or 8
Since he
years
was-
potentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Salt
So
of the
he
sea.
probably does have some reasonable experience.
Cool.
And it could either be reassuring or not that he's willing to come out on this trip. Like
These people
either
know a
it's
lot more about the
because he's
sea than
young that he
me.
thinks it's fine.
Well, I thank him for offering to come out, and I hope that the money will do some good for finishing the trip, etc.
It'll help me mum out. So
Cool, great, that's fantastic. I'm going to continue to make small talk, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Mozzie got to do it.
Johnson comes back with like a pouch of reasonable size. Says, right, ready when you are.
Absolutely. Are we all good?
Yeah, let's go then.
I'll climb in the boat and grab an oar.
Same.
Do we need to push the boat into the sea first? And
Yeah, maybe I'll be helping push. I'll get Gale in the boat.
Oh, nonsense. Nonsense.
Make sure Gale's in the boat before helping push out. And maybe at least Sister Constance as well. I won't insist anything would be. That'd be rude.
Yeah, so there's probably those two, and then you could get away with 2 others helping push as well to be able to get in without sort of falling in the sea as it drops in.
I'll help push. I'm quite tall as well.
I mean, I'll help push if
Cool.
If it's required.
I will stay on the boat to help people get on with minimal amount of
good point
floundering.
And you are off. Can everybody make me I think force rolls?
Yeah, makes sense.
Everyone.
Oh.
Everyone that is rowing. Sorry, Justin.
Question is, I have a may ignore physical conditions once per session. I'm just like, do I use it now? Oh.
Does the bless factor into that?
So that is up to you. You can use the bless once.
Right.
So it's up to you whether you use it now or whether you think you want to save it.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I'm going to use my robust now, but save the bless for later. So I'm going to ignore my physical condition now. 1, 2, 3, 8.
So amusingly, for force, that's the physique attribute. I have 3 in physique and no points in force. But I did roll 1 success. So the sort of the fear of, communing with dead people in the sea, etc., is driving Henry to.
I rolled 2 successes.
I did not succeed. I'm wondering. I think this. I'm not going to push.
Is this rowing or is this just pushing off?
This is rowing.
This is rowing.
Okay, I did roll because I was like, why not? And I rolled a single dice and I did get a single success.
Wow.
Amazing.
I rolled 1 dice, by the way, because you can never roll less than 1 dice, even if you have 0 in something. And I do have 0 in force now with my penalty.
Wait, it's your physique. Your physique is
my physique is 2.
Uh-huh.
And I have -2 penalty to force rolls.
God, so you genuinely.
But hey,
amazing.
that's
Amazing.
good because it only
have a
counts if
0
it's
stat.
-1. It only counts. No, I not 0 stat. I still have 2 in force. And I don't have a 0 stat because it's impossible to have a 0 stat, so I have a 1 stat.
When you roll it
pretty
at
good.
10 anything else. Oh.
I got 1 success, guys. Eat that, Sam.
Okay, so you're making reasonable headway. The captain, I rolled 3 successes, so he's doing a decent job of and Constance also got a success. But the mate did not. So I'll say that he is on the opposite side to B, and they kind of balance each other out, and you don't spin around in a circle. So yes, you're making reasonable headway. You think you're probably halfway there. You start to kind of reach these jutty outcroppings at the sort of mainland side of the Farne Islands. Can everybody make me vigilance rolls, please?
No bonus to vigilance.
2 successes.
It's just 6 dice. Ooh, two successes.
1 success.
I'm rolling 9 dice. I get 3 successes.
Okay.
Well done.
So many.
Okay.
people to roll for.
You all see a shadow moving towards you through the water, which the 2 other people don't seem to have noticed, or at least they don't. So at the moment, you notice if you, for example, raise a cry about it, they don't. Like in the, what I'm saying is, if you wait a second to see if they react, they're not reacting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I will raise a cry.
How close are we talking? Sorry.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how to say it in distance, but you think with the speed that it's moving, it will be upon you in maybe 15 seconds.
Okay. That's harpoon grabbing time.
Is it aiming? Is it like aiming towards the boat? Is it like on a?
It seems to be coming directly at you.
Mm-hmm.
And is this? Were we saying this is a bit bigger than dolphin sized? Was that kind of what we were saying before?
This you think? Yeah, you'd say a guess, because again, it's a shadow and it's a little distance away still. You don't think it's the size of the sea serpent. Smaller than that. So, but maybe a bit bigger than a dolphin. You're not 100% sure.
If anyone's like immediately reaching for a weapon, I might like. My reaction is let's not start off on a bad foot.
Yeah.
No.
I was actually about to say to be the other person with a weapon. Let's wait, see what happens. So you probably hear me say that when you're.
Yeah, B was going put a hand on probably the harpoon, but was not going to immediately attack.
Yeah, presumably it doesn't look the same as when we saw the sea serpent swimming down the tunnel towards us in the sewers.
No. So what happens here is that the captain, I suppose, shouts, "Turn to face it!" And what you really like, but it's coming kind of at an angle. So he's suggesting that if you turn the boat, you realise that there's less surface area for something to hit if you're rather than if you're sideways on. It doesn't. Yeah. So there's a chance that if it's not aiming for you and it's just going in this direction, there's less chance of it hitting you.
Also,
so can everyone make agility rolls?
So the captain can see it then.
B shouted that. Oh, sorry. Yes, he's certainly seen a displacement in the water at least.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he knows something is underwater.
2 successes.
Agility.
4 dice, 2 successes.
6 dice, 2 successes.
6 dice, 1 success.
7 dice and 1 success.
If only I was as good at turning boats
Mine
as
as well.
as I was climbing shelves.
Okay, so you obviously kind of carry on a little bit in the direction that you were traveling, and the boat kind of turns, and whatever this thing is, kind of passes by the side of the boat, and you feel the boat rock to the side as the whatever it is again displaces the water, and you kind of and then it's past you, and you can't see anything there anymore.
Keep a close eye in that direction for like 30 seconds, I think. Make sure he's not turned around.
Oh, must have been a dolphin or something. Strange behaviour, though.
Yeah.
Yes, let's keep going. We're not going to get there any sooner by gawping.
Right, you are. So you turn the boat again and set back off where you were going. As you have got further into this journey and nothing hugely negative has happened, the boatmen begin whistling. You know, maybe it's not quite as bad as they thought it was going to be out here, or at least their abilities are level with. You know, it is choppy.
Yeah.
It's hard work, but they obviously feel like their abilities are equal to the adversity.
Excellent
Hubris,
rowing
that's not-
abilities.
It's all going great, guys. It's going
The
great.
question is, do I recognize the tune they're whistling? I make a roll.
How familiar are you with sort of?
I think I know
Rude
sailors
fisherman
quite
songs.
well. Yeah, I've been around the docks, but I don't know if fishermen. Yeah, probably some.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to roll? Is your plan to
Funny,
whistle
isn't it?
along if you know it?
Would
Yeah,
it be a
I'll
learning
whistle
roll?
No.
Or would it be I don't know, would
observation,
the
surely.
well-traveled factor into it?
It'd be observation, knowing people. That's the observation.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. That's fine.
7 dice to know the whistle. 3 successes. I know this whistle. I wasted a great roll on that.
Yeah.
No way.
You did.
Sorry. Both of those are 6s. That's 5 successes. Holy shit. So I rolled
On how
different
many dice?
so I didn't notice it.
You
7
wrote this song. He's like,
7 dice.
Wow.
Yeah.
this is my song.
I rolled
You
2,
owe me
3, and
royalties.
5 6s. Why did I waste it on this roll?
I can't. Yeah, I just.
That's not how numbers work. It's fine. It's fine, Sam. It's fine.
At least when you meet
Um,
your watery grave, you'll be able to take that song with you.
How can I get more than 2 or 3 successes on this roll and do anything?
Can I have a suggestion? The game says that if you get loads of extra successes, the GM can say you can recover a condition. And since Sam didn't recover a condition, is that a suggestion?
I do have exhausted.
Is that right?
Perhaps
I
that
did
list
see
is
it
true.
in the rule book. It says the GM
Was it in crayon?
can use extra successes to restore conditions.
Cale wrote it in one of his.
I did. I read it just now when I was reading the conditions thing. I couldn't find it for you again, but it is in the book.
I am happy that you could restore a mental condition, in that this is like a camaraderie kind
It's
of
a physical
thing.
condition, though, unfortunately. So I don't think exhausted makes a lot of sense. So,
that's
no,
fine. That's fine. You know what? That's fine. You must set the rules.
Mhm.
It's your own flipping fault, Sam, for not having a
Not
mental
having a
condition.
I'm sorry.
You should have pushed that knowledge roll.
Okay. John. Everybody rolled vigilance already, didn't they? And I think everybody succeeded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all succeeded.
Okay. You see. Well, actually, first you hear a roll of thunder. And then you see a flash of lightning over the sea. And you think as you do, although it's very quick, you think you see some kind of emergence from the water at a distance. And you carry on rowing, and you're probably 40 minutes in now. And then who do you think would, what do you think your positioning would be in the boat? Do you think, I suppose the ones at the back would be the ones that pushed, right? So
yeah, I think I'm at the back.
Hux and Bonneville.
Probably the captain's at the back with his oar, isn't he? Like kind of steering.
Yeah.
Things, so.
Yeah, so those two probably backmost, you two a little in front, and then everybody else in front of that. Okay. You are now passing sort of the landmost of the Farne Islands. Landmost, I don't know if that's a word. And you see a group of seals. And that's it. And you carry on. And you pass this first island. This first sort of bank of islands, and you're then onto the next bank of islands, which is sort of where Longstone Lighthouse is, but it's like a few islands along here. So there are sort of 5 little sections. And as you sort of get along here, you know, the lighthouse is starting to loom in front of you as you're along the sort of 3rd and 4th of these little islands. And then on the 4th island, you spot one single seal. And it seems to be moving along, sort of keeping up with you. And then seems to disappear out of view somewhere. Not sure. And then the rowing becomes more difficult as you are moving through. You realize essentially a small debris field.
What
and you are
kind of
having to
debris. Like, can we tell?
Sort of wood and bits of metal.
Suitcases.
That's not the lighthouse, is it?
I think I would point. I mean, I'm assuming people have noticed, but I think I will vocalize that shouldn't be here and kind of register it with the crew of the boat who know the area better.
Did you tell them the specifics of why you were here?
We didn't. No,
they didn't.
We might do now.
They all they seem to care about was the
yeah.
mines.
So basically, the captain calls us slow ahead of you getting to this area because he sees that it's coming up, and you would all see it as well. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Oh, must be from that ferry."
Really? All the way this far north?
Weird weather. Unless it's from another ferry.
Well, if they'd lost 2 in a row.
About the same amount.
Should we get it? Let's get to the lighthouse, and the sooner we're there, surely the better. Or are you worried about making your way through the debris?
No, we'll just have to move slowly. We don't want to. Some of these big bits could pierce the hull.
I'll take my oar and push off if there's any that are. There is a word for that. I can't remember what it is.
I'm going to just look very closely if there's anything in the water other than just bits of debris. If there's anything of interest, I might just keep an eye out for. But in a storm, probably not that easy.
I'm going to watch for seals.
Yeah. Okay. you don't spot anything sort of giveaway in the water. There don't appear to be any more trunks of luggage. A lot of the pieces of what are here are quite small. Sort of versus like an entire side of a ferry. That they're not that, they're
it's more like there was a wreck and bits of it ended up here than the ship wrecked on this island.
Yes. Yeah. So you work your way through this, and B, you see that seal again. You think swimming from sort of between the 4th island over to the 5th island, which is the one with the lighthouse on. So away from you a little bit because you've come directly here. But yeah, it does look like it's heading to the island with the lighthouse on from the previous island. And you all safely get to the outermost of the Farne Islands, which is the one that contains Longstone Lighthouse.
That is a relief.
And then, pardon?
I just said that is a relief. Sorry.
And you see the light spinning round. You see a flash of lightning, and then a roll of thunder, and then a woman comes running towards you along the beach and says, "Get out of here! Go! Go!" And we'll leave it there.
Cool.
But we've only just arrived.
That's just rude.
Oh,
To Boggart. We didn't bring any iron horseshoes.
Oh gosh, what's going on here?
there was also that emergence thing. That
Yeah, just casual emergence.
just casually, and then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, probably nothing.
We got it fine. Everyone was worried about dying. It was all fine.
Is it though? Really?
Yeah. Look, we don't. People who don't understand these things, they're always saying "get out of here." They're always saying "run, no danger," etc.
I mean, I guess if there's, if you're in a remote area and there's nothing on telly, you could have a great deal of fun running up to random people and shouting, "Get out of here!"
I was thinking more if you have a Vaesen encounter and you're not used to what you're saying, you probably would. You would assume that random people are not going to help the situation, but we do help the situation. We are fixers, Vaesen fixers. Who are you going to telegram? That's what we've always said.
Still struggling to believe.
God, Justin.
Mate,
Yeah.
I'm not even the first one to make that joke. Pretty sure that joke was made last episode.
Yeah, I think, Was it me? I don't know.
I think it was you, Steve. I'm not taking credit for your
Sounds
joke.
like
It was a good
something
joke.
you do, Steve.
First time.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody noticed though last time.
I noticed. I noticed. I was there. I was very
He
happy with
noticed
it.
and he liked it.
I noticed that. I know it's all good jokes.
And bad ones too, apparently.
Thanks everybody for watching. Wednesday, Simba Room. This Thursday, Wicked Ones. That's it for this week, and then we're back next Monday. Links to everything are below the stream. Social media, Discord. Please come join the Discord to get up-to-date info on when things are happening, what's happening. Talk about Kickstarter, talk about books, talk about RPGs, everything, really. And our Patreon, if you want to support us on there. Let's do experience points before I forget. Participated in the session. Did you confront any Vaesen? No. Did you identify a previously unknown Vaesen? Oh, go on, John.
I mean, did we? I no.
confront the
We didn't
person?
confront.
We
We
didn't.
might have seen.
We
We had
might
a
have
test
dodged.
against. We had a test against a wave that might have been a Vaesen.
Never mind.
I don't think that counts as confronting.
Were you affected by your dark secret? I'll leave that to you. Did you take risks to protect other people? I think that's I'm happy with that
Yeah.
for this one.
I think we did.
Have you learned anything?
Mhm.
Yes, you have learned some
Steve
stuff.
did some.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely learned some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've learned about. the
You haven't
shipwreck.
developed anything in your headquarters, and did you perform an extraordinary action? That's
Come
probably
on.
still in
I mean,
there.
my
Yeah,
recognition of the
come
whistle.
on. I mean, shut up.
There's no
We
better.
just rode through a magical storm to get
But
to
that's
the
the
outer
taking
farms.
risks to
Yeah, you
protect
can't get the
other
same thing
people.
twice.
I
You
think.
couldn't,
I don't know if
you
that-
couldn't do that. You couldn't get the same. You couldn't get both.
Not from
You
the
could get both.
same action.
Yes, you
Nah.
can.
No,
Yes, you
can't.
can. Yes, you can.
I mean,
Taking
you
risk was if we'd have gone out there and not made it, we'd have still taken risks. But we went out there and we made it.
You can have a vote. I'll
No.
put it
Well,
to you. Like
no,
if
I'll
you want the
That's
extraordinary
dumb.
action.
You shouldn't be
not
able to get
dumb.
it for the same thing. No way.
Well, like in most cases, when you do something extraordinary, it is a risk. So
yeah.
that,
So what you're saying
can't-
is you
can't
either get
rule
2
out-
or
you
4
can't-
points. So it's pointless to have separate things in your XP. That doesn't make
No,
any
it isn't
sense.
because you can take risks that aren't extraordinary, but most
Like we
extraordinary
just did.
things. No, it is extraordinary to row through a magical storm.
Not
That's the
extraordinary.
definition of extraordinary.
Extraordinary action is like
It
an
is-
individual independent.
May I
thing.
just
It's
put on
like
there?
you as a person have done
the
this
lovely
extraordinary
Grace
thing.
Darling, real person, rode 1 mile in a storm and was literally the town's fucking named everything after her.
And
We
that
rode
would be-
18 miles through a magical storm,
That would
and
be
you're
an
like,
extraordinary
and you're
action.
like to literally save people's lives, and you're like, yeah, fuck us though, like fuck those guys. Like, it's the definition.
We did it in preparation as a group with all this. Nah, it's not an extraordinary action.
I think it's an
How
extraordinary
about-
action that Muslim persuaded Bonneville to go through with this ridiculous.
I would argue Bonneville's seance was closer to an extraordinary action. It seems like
That's a
an
bunch.
individual
That's a
independent-
talent. That's a talent.
How
That's
about
That's a talent.
how about compromise? We call it half extraordinary, so that next time we have an activity
if we get
that
back.
we think
If
is
we-
half
Can
extraordinary.
we say if we go out
Oh
and
yeah,
come back,
if you
that's
survive this, you can
extraordinary.
get yes, yeah.
Thank
I'm happy
you.
with that.
I
Yeah.
think somehow there might be some more opportunities for extraordinary actions in the next session. Something
Look,
tells
I
me.
mean, like, you're insane, Sam. You're an insane person if you don't believe this is extraordinary.
But I am happy that if any of you survive this, you can get the extraordinary action point.
yes,
Thank
good
you.
stuff.
Obviously.
We'll take that. Hang on a second.
So three basically.
Mhm.
I think. Cool. I forgot to say if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat. But I think you probably know that already.
I
Put
mean,
it in the
we've
chat
done
whether
a
you
few
think it's an
sessions
extraordinary
now.
action or not.
I think that's everything from me. So, are there any questions or comments in the chat?
There are. I'll go for the serious question before I just put up our nonsense. This one from 4242. Why was B a recluse? Religion, Luddite, paranoia. It was largely, well, I guess mostly the Luddite paranoia. This is one of these aspects that maybe more fits in the original setting. But because Vaesen is set in the latter days of the Industrial Revolution, and like the attitude towards the Vaesen is supposed to be a narrative of like societal advancement, technology, and the new ways overriding the old ways. And I tried to pitch B as a representative of the old ways, but there isn't like that was obviously much more of a thing in Sweden, with the spread of Christianity and all that, than it was in the UK.
Still kind of a thing, but not as much.
It was kind of a thing.
We had it in the first
Yeah.
one, didn't we? With the kind of like mystic lady we met in that village. So
Yeah. So B is a somewhat fantasized version of like I think it kind of ran in her family of like not quite pagan, living off the land. industrialization kind of thing.
Yeah. The village wise woman profession has been outdated now by all this new
Yes.
stuff.
We need to bring that back.
I've seen what Facebook. I've seen what I see, like. I've been on Facebook. We don't need to bring that back. Like,
Yeah, that one's
we were for half an hour. The camera pans back. We're still 6 feet from shore.
yeah. I did look at like how long it is, and it's like 18 miles to Rotofarns, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like 100% something that could only not going to only happen in an RPG fantasy setting, but it's like there's no way that 6 people are rowing to the Farns in a storm. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
people would have done it, but not in a storm.
yeah. Oh yeah.
See, I did wonder at the start of all this, you see, whether metagaming a bit, whether the storm was essentially a lock and we had to solve the problem with the storm before anyone could go to the... So I was kind of trying to fish around to see whether that was the case.
It might still.
Around with shells. Yeah, I mean, we might have short-circuited things. Who can say? We might, perhaps we were supposed to die on the trip, and we just rolled extraordinarily well.
Johnny's good enough to manage around players doing things like, like if players wanted to just pay off, just like me, I wanted to pay my way through an encounter. It worked,
Did you ever try offering money to the Red Cap? Perhaps that would have worked.
Could have done. Should try it more in the future.
The thing is, though, like, if people are struggling for money, they will risk things to get money. Like, the more you are in need of money, the more you will risk. So the more days missed earnings that these people have who are, like, on the edge of everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
The worry is they're super desperate.
Yeah, that's completely right. I was like, this guy knows what he's doing. He wouldn't do it if it was really suicide. And then I was like, cool. I talked to the guys like, yeah, my mum's really sick. And I'm like, great.
Like, so
you really need the money. Like,
if they take your money and then like hide it in a jar on land away from,
on the beach, just shoveled into
just like. I'm going to pop to the shop and get some life insurance, and then I'll be right back and we'll be ready to sail.
I hate to call you out, Justin. I had to look it up. I didn't think it was that far. It's 3 miles it comes up as.
But did I misread it? Did I misread it?
Well, 3 miles to sea houses is what it comes up as.
It depends whether you're going round and round in circles, though.
What I saw was that this. Johnny's research was that a trip to the Farne Islands, including a 30-minute wander around the lighthouse, now takes an hour and a half. Oh no, 2 hours. Sorry, 2 hours, including the 30 minutes wandering around the lighthouse. So I was like, an hour's probably reasonable to just get from point to point. And
in a storm rowing, if the wind's against us, it might be more. But I suppose, it doesn't matter that much, does it? Time-wise, no one's going to complain at us other than ourselves.
No,
but the tide was with you.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. That does help, I imagine.
Oh, it's 18 minutes.
Oh, I must have seen 18M something or whatever.
Although this is telling me it's 18 minutes if you walk, which I don't.
I don't think you have that
you
time.
Can do.
Is that how long it takes you to drown?
It takes you only 10 minutes to cycle.
What the fuck?
It's the new character class Messiah.
Is this Google Maps? Is Google Maps?
It is.
I've
just noticed it says this trip includes a ferry.
Oh,
but that still doesn't explain why it's faster to cycle than it is to walk.
Yeah.
We get a ramp on the end of the ferry and then just really, go for it.
Those last 8 minutes.
You don't need to wait for it.
Oh my god. Oh dear.
Jolly good. Any more, John?
This is the one that made Johnny groan at me halfway through the session.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Great tune, though.
I bet it's the Seal song, probably Kiss from a Rose.
I'm sure when he says a kiss from a rose on the grey he is talking about is a seal, an actual seal, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally.
I've also included this one from Johnny because it's one of my favorite lines and it's almost seasonally appropriate. There's more water grave about you.
Is that from something?
Happy with that one.
It's from Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And he's saying that maybe he's a piece of bad cheese that he ate, the spirit.
Oh, that's such a good line.
We should do a Christmas Carol one shot.
That would be fun.
I've got an idea for a Christmas thing, but
Do it.
well, I was going to do it offline, but
Oh.
I could do it. I could do something online.
You've teased now, Justin.
Exclusive to this stream.
Yeah.
We're announcing it here before I've consulted anyone about it.
Or made any plans.
X-rated, set in a strip club. It has hard drug use. And if you want to talk about, life, everyone's going to be upset by this.
It's deeply problematic. Just what we want for Christmas.
For some reason at Christmas.
But
Amazing.
I've somehow managed to get Bill Murray to play in it, and so therefore it's a Christmas game.
A friend of mine ran a Christmas one-shot that was Blades in the Dark, and you had to basically steal something from Santa's workshop.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That was quite fun.
Well, I'm not saying that that's not my idea for a Christmas story.
But I think we didn't realize that it was Santa's workshop that we would get. That was the whole thing. Was
That's
you kind of
cool.
went in and you were like, "Hang on a minute, who are these guys in the green and red outfits?"
Who was that person that we just bludgeoned to death?
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus.
And on that note, we might see you next Monday if that hasn't put you off. Simba Room on Wednesday, Wicked Ones on Thursday. Links to all of our stuff below the stream. Hopefully, see you next Monday for more of this story. Thank you very much.